All right. So, how to kick it off? I hate to host. So, well, as mentioned already, voting process gets really increased in the quality. And another point where it's really important to figure out where we want to move forward is the proposer process as well. I guess all of you are proposers in one or another way. Are there some who are not proposers in the room? Everybody proposer? Fuck, this is an amazing community.
Me no.
You know, Marco, but I know you will be in Fund 7. We spoke about it already. Okay. So as we know also, it's the community who decides where the road goes to. And as we are the community, it's really nice to come together, have a look back on Fund 6, what went well, what didn't went well, what can be captured, how can we improve for further iterations. And therefore we prepared Victor, Nori, and me. We just set up, I drop it here in the live chat. It's called Tele Retro. It's quite cool. So it's a kind of Trello, Miro, something mix. When you can, everybody has access to the link. Because for the beginning, I would just give it 10, 15 minutes just to get some data together. The guys in the other breakout room is using exactly the same board with the same themes and topics. So it will be quite interesting to compare later what community says. Is there anybody who can't access the board? Feel free to unmute yourself as well. No? All right, nice. So, very first topic on the left side, maybe just what do you think? Let's give it some minutes. Just everybody for itself. You are all proposer, you have all passed the process, so you know best for you what went well, what didn't went well. What did you think about Fund 6 at general? There, I think on the cards, there aren't any character limits, so feel free to add as much as you want. Liked, things you really enjoyed, about everything, especially about Fund 6. Let's try to really stick to Fund 6. Then things you have learned in Fund 6. Then what's your impression about things the community missed? And at least something you wished for. Oh, and as we do it really cool and calm, let's put some nice music in the background. I always like music in the background. And be honest, everything is anonym, nobody sees your name. Don't be polite, don't be gentle, be honest. And if anybody has some questions, go for it, for sure.
Hey, hi Felix, Peter here.
Hey Peter.
I just entered some of my comments. Something came up during the town hall in the chat that I was curious about. It seemed like somebody was suggesting that if, like, so I got my community advisor scores, and I was like, okay, I don't have, there's a few things I could nitpick about, but I'm okay with it. I'm not going to address any of those. It's fine, right? Like the score I got is I'm fine with. So I didn't do anything after that. Was I supposed to do something to actually, or now whatever that first round of scoring is just going to get applied in the voting app, right? Like I didn't have to do anything to say it's okay, like click something somewhere?
No, you don't have to do nothing.
Okay, good.
Just in a previous stage, it's called just when the CAs finish their job, each proposer has the possibility to see all the assessments made by the community advisors, and each proposal has the possibility to flag those assessments. When there are, for example, assessments to your proposal where you think, hey, this isn't an assessment, let's say, for example, it's a statement, and the statement has nothing to do with my proposal, you can argue against this assessment. And later, the veteran community advisor will check this as well.
Right. I understood. Yeah. And so I felt like the assessments were fair, like in general. And so that was good. So I didn't do anything. I just left it. So I just was following a thread in the chat that seemed to suggest somebody was like, oh, I did something. And then I had a 4.5 score, but then I got 0. And I wasn't quite sure I couldn't quite follow the thread. So I just wanted to confirm that there was nothing left to do.
No, nothing left to do.
Awesome,
Also,
thank you.
To flag the assessments is optional. You don't have to.
Yeah. That's what I understood, but I want to be clear. Okay, thanks.
I have a question. I hope this is the right place.
Yes.
When the videos from the Idea Fest will be uploaded to YouTube?
As soon as possible. Right now we put everything well in place. We have to wait for the translations for the Eastern Idea Fest, but I hope this weekend or beginning next week, everything will be uploaded on IoT YouTube channel. And also Lucio, they're gonna add all the videos on the voting tool.
Ah, great.
Yes.
Great. So that'll be done automatically.
They will be translated, you said?
From the Eastern from the Eastern town hall, yes. There we had 8 Japanese and 4 Vietnamese proposals showing their proposals in their local language, and this we have to translate.
But not the English version will be translated into the Asian.
No, language. The Asian version will be translated into the English version because they present the Japanese proposal. 8 of them showed up. They presented their projects in Japanese, so we have to translate it into English.
So I hope it will be both direction, but I guess it's much to work. It's not the...
Yeah, it's especially to figure out workflows.
Yeah.
And so speaking of the videos, so Felix, I was one of the unfortunate presenters, IdeaFest presenters, where the video recording didn't work. So we're scheduling a re-recording, right?
Exactly. It was just
I've sent an
one
email
room
back to that. Oh, it was the room? I was going to ask how many other people were affected. So there's like 4 or 5 of us, I guess.
No, only 3 people, you, Philip, and Tivo, who have been in room number 5 on the second presentation room. You presented
Orgfax, yeah.
Yeah, Orgfax, exactly.
Right.
Got it. And there we scheduled just a recall just to make sure that you can represent your proposal and we can match it in. All other presentations have been moved quite well. It was just in the storage there have been a mistake. So we haven't been able to get the files on the right place. Hey, Danny, here the link for you as well. You can. Are you a proposer? Is Danny a proposer?
I'm anything you need me to be.
That's a good question. Are people from IoT allowed to submit proposals?
I think we would voluntarily be excusing ourselves at this point in time, but like for the future reference, it's a permissionless environment and it's being built in such a way that anyone can. So whether it's an IoT employee, is a community member, or someone from Ethereum community, so anyone and everyone can submit whatever they wish, and it's up to community to decide whether they're willing to accept it or not.
Sebastian put out a proposal in Fund 2. Remember that $500 one? Wasn't he working for IOG then?
Emergo, I think.
Could be still more Emergo. Okay.
Now they're DC Spark, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just checking a little bit what you're writing down, guys. A huge wish list. Not many things we have learned. Because after this also, maybe also everybody take some time to check also what the other people, the other proposals are writing down. And to cluster or filter it a little bit, we will have a voting. So when everybody says, oh, okay, they are fine, we're gonna drop a voting process directly on the same site where you are. everybody has 5 votes to vote on the, let's say, cards which you think are the most relevant or with which you can identify the most. And after this, we jump right into an open discussion where I don't have to be host anymore. Ha, nice part. There you are host. It's quite interesting. It's a lot about CAs and VCAs. Not a lot, but a repeating topic in each category. So I would give it again 6 minutes when it's all.
What happened?
It's fine for all. Sorry?
What happened to the music, Felix?
To the music? Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Just there I have to. Wait a second, there I have to reshare, this time with sound. Give me a second. What do you want? Something easy, something moves? Tell me.
Whatever moves you, Felix.
Whatever moves me.
Yes, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Probably just some alpha wave sound or something, right?
That's a nice music for looking back.
Thinking music.
Definitely.
Maybe just a tad bit lower, just a little bit.
Better?
Yep.
And what's the time? So I will just drop the voting, the voting on the cards. So still take 1-2 minutes just to read through the cards. And everybody has 5 votes and distribute them however you want. Ha.
redhead, masquerade, tear shed, cream beam of squeeze. The stage smells, tells, hells, battles, misspells, knocks me on my knees. It didn't hurt, flirt, blood, squirt, stop, shirt, hang me on a tree. After I count down 3 rounds, in hell I'll be in good company. In hell I'll be in good company. In hell I'll be in good company.
It says 4 from 5 from 12 people voted already.
Felix, is there a submit button for the votes?
Normally, I think you just have to distribute your votes, and that's it.
Because I didn't see like where I voted on a comment that didn't have any other votes. It didn't show up as one.
You might not have had any votes left.
No,
That's
I was
possible.
within my 5. I was in.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I mean, it shows a vote on the top corner, but it doesn't show it. Or maybe it needs to refresh. Maybe it needed to refresh.
I think you can only see your votes, so no others.
Well, on some I could see others.
Normally in the top you can see, I don't know if you can see that as well, but normally I can see, for example, 5 of 9 people voted, your remaining votes. And then you see how much you have.
Yeah.
Take care, Marco.
Everybody fine with voting? Also, voting, it's not something that anybody wins something. It's just to figure out what has most relevance for you guys.
I thought this was an NFT giveaway.
Let's do one for Fun 7 retrospective. Who makes the best retrospective?
That's very funny. That's very funny. We can't start down that road though, because they go on all day long.
Wait, what? Retrospective NFTs?
NFTs in general, man.
Ah, yeah.
I've got to get out of some of these servers. They're just like beeping me constantly.
Yep.
Mute those notifications.
Yep. All fine. I can stop the voting. Ben, fine for you?
I'm fine, yeah. Yeah.
Ben, fine for you?
Sure,
Yes, I'm good.
I finished.
Oh, Len, sorry.
I don't know, whatever. I finished.
Okay, Len as well. Peter, Steve, Mike, Aaron, Lucas, John.
I mean, it doesn't matter very much to me, but I could see one in longed for that I voted for and doesn't show one vote. I
Oh,
don't know. I'm looking at your screen now.
this one? Ah, because this
No.
is the, I can't see your votes.
You can only see your own votes on your own.
Exactly.
Yep.
If you click, yeah, sorry.
But I'm looking at the other, on the other topics, I see like 2, 1.
Ah, that means when you
1.
see 2, that means that you distributed 2 votes to one topic, to one.
No.
When
Oh,
you
okay,
go on
whatever.
it, then you have a,
Whatever. No, I'm looking at your screen. Look in and lacked, the very first one, very few reviews got excellent. I see a thumbs up and 1, okay? Now go to longed for,
but Len,
objective assessment.
Len, the thumbs up, it's not a vote. Thumbs up,
Okay.
it's just a emoji. The vote,
Just a thumbs
it's shown
up.
here,
Yeah.
it's the small blue number here which is shown. So I can take it off, for example, can add it somewhere else.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah,
there
okay.
where it shows me.
Okay, I thought that was votes.
So we give you again a short moment to make your vote. Ah, Lucas, then. Yeah, this was your music, I think.
Nice music.
Legendary music.
Yeah.
Indeed. Indeed, indeed.
I think, was that the Pantera version?
No, the normal Space Carol.
Pantera did a pretty nice version as well.
I don't like the remix stuff.
Yeah.
Can you just interpret it for us, the Pantera version? Maybe you can show us or sing for. Yeah, you Dan. Come on, Dan.
No, I'm more of a dancer. I'm not a singer.
Okay. Pantera. God, Pantera.
That means you got to dance now, right? You know that.
You can't see my feet, so I just can pretend.
I just wondering that even one of you know Pantera.
Yeah, why not? Good
All right.
music.
Because you are all very young.
Thank you for this compliment.
You're welcome.
Okay, I'm gonna shut down voting when it's fine for you all. And let's have a look. 2, 3. So, list. What did you think about Fun 6? Enjoyed the mutual support and feedback I got from fellow proposers. I met via town hall breakouts. Ah, that's nice. Incredible energy. Yes. Like things you already enjoyed. What is there the highest? 2, 4. Idea Fest. Ah, cool. So definitely something. But and fortunately it's coming back in Fun 7 as well. Learned. Things you have learned there I'm really curious about. 1, 2, 2. Okay. I learned how to write a proposal. That's the main goal of a Fun for retrospective for proposals. So much. I learned how to write and rewrite a proposal over and over. Nice. Fun 7 will be easier for you already.
Do you have the chance, Felix, to just show the highest votes?
Normally you can see them here on my screen.
Yeah, but to filter them, I think.
A filter, yeah. Thanks, Dan. Yeah.
Or to
Or the
order
highest
them or
votes.
something. To sort them, but I don't think it's possible with this. It's very basic.
Okay.
Nothing high end here. Elect things the community missed. 4, 3 times 4. Wow. So most votes are are distributed to what the community missed. It seemed that determining whatever proposal met the criteria or not was very subjective. Perhaps these need to be discussed and addressed so everyone is at the same page while we are at your town halls. It appears VCAs did not read some of the proposals and took the proposer CA's word for it. So I heard several times, yeah. But I don't know if this was really for the VCAs or the CAs, because I had several times that CA assessments haven't been really related to some of the proposals. Third one, pre-assessment followed by a comment round, so that community can take assessments into account, also help with flagging maybe. Not sure if this can work within the idea scale, but maybe if the API will be opened. This could also fit into something you wish for. And something you wished for, there's a 5. An opportunity to answer CA's assessments before final score. Dates for closing the registration on URI and Daedalus were confusing. But they are hopeful. Fortunately, Danny brought us some really great updates today already. Yes, Danny, you've been on trip today. Just yeah, you got again and again, take this. But really impressive, really good updates. I think in Fund 6 we have already a better voting systems than some countries have. Huh? All right.
Better than in Germany, definitely.
Yeah, Germany.
And no insurrection?
Cool. I just stopped.
Sorry if I'm outing myself, but I didn't read the VCA reviews. Can someone send me or share a link so that I can read them?
The VCA, normally when you go just back into on the slides Lucio shared on the in the town hall, there you find everything on the Library of Alexandria for Fund 6.
Okay, perfect, thanks.
I also just shared the Google Doc where they put all of those, if that's what you were talking about.
Yes, awesome, thanks.
So, well, paper stuff is done. Gentlemen, ladies, is there a lady? No, only gentlemen today. Fund 6, looking back, verbalize it. Somebody wants to give us something. I mean, come on, it's a retrospective. we have to do something.
I mean, I was shocked by one or by two. I don't know if it was. I suspect it was one guy. So 2 reviews. One of my proposals from a CA because it looked like absolutely the same text. He just switched some words around, and it was just copy pasted text from inside my proposal. Then just changed the words in the beginning and the end, and then put it as a review. Actually, 2 reviews on my proposal. And yeah, that's why I just wanted to see now if they've been filtered out or not. But that was pretty shocking for me. And I don't know if this happens a lot or if other people saw this, but this should definitely be heavily discouraged and somehow work against.
I see the same things, Dan. This is the second time I've been on a proposal, second funding round that I've been on a proposal and was able to see assessments. Mm-hmm. Just going down the list, just reading and see how they spoke. And and I've got 4 proposals. I've got 4 proposals in Fund 6, and 3 of them are basically exactly the same. Same idea, same concept. And my range of scores goes from like 4.67 to, like a low 3. And I can't see, I have a hard time with that. And on the other side of it, my fourth proposal got like a 2.5 rating. It's just a really simple idea. You know, it's this mission, you know, making money available for charity type proposals, you know, just based on charitable. And I got these shitty reviews and they were all, I couldn't tag them, right? Because I didn't see that they said anything wrong or inappropriate to the category, but they were just a different perspective, right? You know, like Cardano shouldn't do that. You know, that's not an assessment, you know, and I read a lot today. I read quite a few of the assessments that were thrown out of all of my proposals. And some of them were just, you know, like, I mean, I've done assessments, you know, like I read some assessments and I literally have nothing to say. You know, I never would have thought of that. That's not an idea I understand, but it might be good, you know, and you know, are people supposed to write a book for every proposal that leaves them feeling completely neutral? You know, like as an assessor? I feel like as an assessor, you know, like if you can validate in your assessment, yeah, the metrics were addressed. Yeah, they have a plan. Yeah, you know, you don't have to, you know, write a book to say that. You know, you can make these flat statements. And I saw several assessments of mine that were rated highly, but they were thrown out because they were just, you know, they were colorless. This proposer made a good job of presenting the problem and a possible solution. But, you know, next one of the three. And I, you know, to me, that's a valid thing to say.
Steve,
Sure.
Can I endorse what you're saying? I think there's, first of all, you had a good example. If you had I think I know which proposals you had that just differed geographically. If you had three basically the same proposals with, let's say substantially different reviews, that's a good example of how different, I guess, different assessors were assessing your same proposal differently. So that might be a good test case for the community to look at, because your proposals, those proposals were quite straightforward and simple. So that maybe is a good example of how subjective this process is. And the other, to endorse what else you said, is that writing a book, I think we're a little bit confused in asking assessors to teach the proposers how to improve their proposal versus making an assessment by whatever criteria. A short assessment gets thrown out, and a long flowery one really doesn't do any good. And most of it's just opinion. I've been endorsing on the community advisors. I don't know who Dwayne is, but his recommendation to make things much more objective. I think that's the way to go, is to make these assessments more objective and get away from subjective opinion, because it's all over the place.
I think that you touch one point, especially on objectivity, subjectivity, that there have been several proposals. They've been quite emotionally touched by some assessments. And this can be dangerous, because a proposal has to be objective, assessment have to be objective. And when we have high emotions rising up on every and each end, something could be improved, maybe. Definitely.
Yeah, I'm really sorry to hear that. That's really is something that should be part of the, you know, the initial information somebody who inquires about being a CA should see. You know, like you really can't get emotional about this stuff, you know, because it's not personal, you know. I mean, you're all magical people on the internet as much as my Ada is, you know. I mean, not so much now, you know, like I've actually started meeting some of you, you know, but I mean, you know, like, you know what I'm saying? You know, we're all kind of figments of each other's projections, you know, and this is like one of the funnest groups I've ever done that with, you know, because we really are all looking at things from the same perspective, you know, that same desire, that same sense of urgency that makes you actually want to drop everything else you're doing to work on this thing on the internet. You know, that's a beautiful, beautiful vibe. But it gets real personal, right? And people do take it personal.
Yeah, I think
Attached to it.
I think it could be much more productive if those kinds of assessments were submitted in comment period. Then everybody has a chance to take it on board.
But also it's more like, I would really like to keep it on a retrospective. It's quite difficult sometimes from keeping it on a retrospective and not moving to potential solutions already. Especially, well, because we have a community of builders and doers. So just looking back, saying, yeah, nah, okay, let's look 5 minutes back and look 5 years ahead. Let's go for it. But just to try to keep it a little bit on the retro side. When we start to jump already in potential solutions, yeah, we will still stick around in years, and the potential solution is evolve over iterations. I think so that each funding round, everything becomes a little better. Marcin, you raise your hand.
Yeah, just one thing, because it's all about retro. As I mentioned, we started to look in Catalyst at Fund 4. And since Fund 4, it's the same issue which I read all over our community. It is all about timing. Yeah, so the people really forget to register on Daedalus, on Yoroi, and so on, because all I would wish is that there's an IOG side or a Catalyst side or Cardano side, wherever, where you got a big counter, yeah, like from the gaming environment, which counts backwards, and you see just 5 days or something, and you can tweet about it and post it. That would be a great stuff. That's what I really missed in the last two funding rounds, and also sadly on Fund 6. So that's the only issue I have to address. The timing issue would be great to work on in the future funds.
Maybe communication.
Communication, yeah, also, yeah. But especially regarding the timing, yeah.
Yeah, I would just like to also say that I agree with what Marcin just said about the timing. I found it, for me, like also, since this is my first time in the funding proposal rounds, it wasn't clear to me what was kind of like the due dates for each one of the stages, and yeah, exactly how much time was needed and things like this. Like I saw, like when you're on the funding proposal, say if you're in your funding, you have, for instance, the stages. It has all stages kind of thing, and it has a description on there if you put your mouse, but it doesn't give you a date. And I think this would be a good addition to have, just so we know fully what the timeframes are.
And you can be happy that you joined in Fund 6. If you have joined in a Fund 4, where you had Fund 3 open, waiting for votes, Fund 4 in run, Fund 5 opening already. This was kind of mess. So, but definitely, yes. Better visibility for timing, timelines, timeframes, dates.
And especially the snapshot date, because that's where you need to have the ADA in the wallet. And if that is only known 2 days ahead or something, then everyone will scramble to get their ADA in the wallet, or to like this. Yeah, very important to have the snapshot date before, because lately the network can be quite congested, and yeah. So the snapshot date, as soon as this is known, make it public somewhere, like Marcin said, on a big.
I've always checked my date. I always download the slides from the town hall, because those dates are always there.
Yeah, but not everyone is at the town hall, and sometimes the date change, and it's not very like user friendly to go into the town hall, download the presentation, and then check the dates there. We could make it a bit more comfortable, especially when the date changes.
Well, and especially on your proposal page, right? You ought to be able to look at a proposal and see where you are in that schedule.
Danny, go for it.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point. Just out of curiosity, like, do you guys read the weekly recap that comes like with a lot of that information in it? Like, I downgraded a lot of those things, so like only once a week, like recapping of like what's happening in Catalyst. Like, are you guys tuned into that? Just the gentleman that was speaking, did you have an opportunity in the past to check it or not yet?
Speaking about the MailChimp you're sending out each Friday, no?
Yeah.
I think I've seen, I looked at it 1 week. It's hard to, it hasn't sunk in yet that it comes out every week.
Yeah, I send it out on Fridays, like summing up like what's been happening in the past week and what's to look out for the next week ahead. And then I push it on the Telegram. But I use generally what that uses is idea scale emails. So what the proposers initially log in with, and provided they don't change it later down the line, is where those emails essentially end up initially. So maybe that could be also a potential bottleneck somewhere.
Maybe bottleneck, and maybe some emails go into the spam, or some people change the mail, some have group emails or something like this. So yeah.
Because just to this point, just to everybody here in the room right now, how often do you check the project Catalyst news per mail with the email you signed up on IdeaScale? Is it per?
Every day.
Every day.
Yeah, daily. Yeah,
and
daily.
The spam issue is really one I found. I searched now for Catalyst emails from Daniel, and found 6 emails from the last month, which were thrown into my spam folder. Yeah, and I don't know why. Even if I allow to every project Catalyst email to be whitelisted, so it's curious. I don't know.
Yeah, email is. I mean, if I'm not in the town hall, I also check the Telegram group for the summary, because you always post very good summaries there as well. But many people are neither in the town hall nor in the Telegram chat. And yeah, to put it maybe on the Cardano Catalyst community site, someone posted it just now. I'm looking at it. It's like a Gantt diagram. Some people will not know what it is, so maybe just add like a couple of countdowns to when the next round is closing, respectively the following opening, and when the snapshot is for the upcoming fund, just so that people can have it in view. And then you can always refer, and other people can refer them to, hey, when is the fund coming? I don't know, check it there. And then everyone knows.
I'll be really curious to see like if the push notifications within the app, which now allow for like a different classification of like which notifications people want to receive, whether being a proposer, advisor, and general voter. Like, I'm really curious how that works out in practice. Like, in theory, it sounds really exciting, but I want to see like how it actually works out in practice, and maybe that can help address something, because voting app is something that everyone has, and we don't have like a spam filter there. We don't have like email issue. So curious about how that works out, really.
Aaron, you wanted to mention something?
Maybe to another subject, if we haven't finished to talk about this.
Go for it. Open conversation.
I just want to share my experience. I joined Catalyst at the beginning of Fund 5. I was lurking during this time, and I proposed now at Fund 6. And I was disappointed to see that the challenge that I submitted to the budget was decreased from Fund 5 to Fund 6. And I found myself now in a situation of competition with other great proposals, really great proposals. I really wish to see them get funded and implemented, but because we all compete on the same small budget, I am in a competition situation while the potential is for collaboration. And it's really inconvenient place for me to be. I have some ideas how it could be resolved. Maybe later. I am planning to reach out for proposals that that can be in a future collaboration and to create maybe some kind of a budget pool or something. So if some of the proposal will fund it and the other won't, then they can contribute it to each other. But this is some very exceptional problem that I personally feel that I met. And I'm not sure if there is if there is a solution, because there is a budget and it is limited and there will always be competition. So I don't know. I just want to raise it and see if I'm not the only one that feel like that.
Yeah, this is Mike here. I don't know if this is kind of following the same line of I don't want to change the topic if there's other thoughts there, but I spent about last 6 or 7 years of my career in kind of like a high tech startup atmosphere culture, and it kind of, this has a lot of that feel to it to me. It's a lot of really great energy, a lot of good, exciting stuff, but also a lot of kind of like room for improvement, right? A lot of people there's a lot of really smart people here, it seems, a lot of people with really good ideas, but it's kind of, where does the rubber meet the road and how do we implement that, it seems like. But it does seem like the community is really excited to kind of bring it all together and make it work. So I think hopefully it just has it has good energy. I think it has a lot of good things that I've seen from that side of things. And it bodes well for the future, I think, if people can kind of come together and help fix all these problems. So it's good.
I agree. And Aaron, I would just like to say that, it's like the only thing that the people that I know in the community that have been in it for a while, the only thing that I know about anybody regretting is that they waited as long as they did, so like, lurking is a thing. You can do that until you find your level of comfort, and everybody does it. I did, like I was in the company, in the community for 2 or 3 months before I ever really said anything. And, collaboration is the same way. I've recently become a member of the Gimbal Labs team, and they formed from a collaboration after the experiences they had in Fund 1, right? In Fund 2, they were funded, that original team. And so, I'd be reaching out to these other groups now, right? Because if you wait until after the vote, somebody's always going to be in the position of having to be considered as somebody who's making this attempt at a collaboration because they don't have any money. But if you do it preemptively, you have a chance where everybody's on the same footing. And, it's a little bit easier for each, person that you're speaking with to consider, what they think the chances are. Are they better alone as they are, or are they better in collaboration with others? And, the experience James and I had at the summit in Wyoming was that it was great to meet other people, because we found out that some people were working on problems that we didn't really want to work on, but we were going to work on them if we had to. But there's other people to collaborate who are specifically looking at that problem. And this is really useful in this period right now, in this phase that we find this incubation period really heating up, and so I would say always look for collaboration in this space, and most of the time you'll know within 10 or 15 minutes whether there's worth anything more to discuss. Everybody's a pretty quick read about this process.
Yeah, I'm already speaking with those proposers, and I've met amazing people, and I feel, well, this is just the beginning. We are looking years ahead. We do need resources to continue for the short term, but the people that I meet, I feel and I hope that we will find the ways to work years ahead. But again, in the short term, I feel that there is a problem that I'm not sure exactly how to resolve it, but I am in a communication with other proposers, and I hope that we will find a way that always be limited, no matter how much ADA will be worth, and we hope it will be worth much more.
That's cool.
Good luck.
I had a sound issue. Can you hear me? Okay, because Aaron, also Mike, what you touched on, you said there's a great energy, and Steve, what you said with Jimmer Labs and Aaron. I think there are definitely several approaches how you can see the proposals, and also, let's say, competitive proposals on IdeaScale. I think, Aaron, you touched a really nice point. There's a way to say, oh, there are really great proposals in the same challenge, and I'm in competition to those. But on the other side, Catalyst is a marketplace of ideas and gives you the possibility to read through the proposals, to meet the proposers, and to say, hey, are these my competitors or are they my future collaborators? And Jimmer Labs, for example, is a result out of this. It's a result out of merged proposals. Back in, I think it was in Fund 2. It started with James and Roberto.
And
Two
Julie,
proposals. Yeah, Juliana joined as well, then later Kyle as well. They said, hey, really good proposals, really nice people behind. And then it took over a year now, and they built up what we know now as Jimmer Labs. So, and they threw away their own proposals, starting to make proposals together. I think this is definitely the way where it's all about. And what is mentioned every week, to explore a safe and lively environment for you to explore the highest potential of human collaboration. Yes. But there are 2 points. Why I was a little surprised that there hasn't been any mentions of it about, because we had 2 big changes in Fund 6. One was the change that community advisors have been able to be proposers as well. Wasn't in a previous fund at all, and I think this has a huge impact. And the challenge teams. Don't know if you know about already the challenge teams.
I put up climate challenge.
Like climate challenge. But do you mean this is a specific proposal for Fund 7?
But I meant the general idea that you can put up a challenge, and that the climate challenge was put up that way. And of course, you're totally right. I forgot about the CA and proposer parallelity, because that was actually what kept me from like being able to review, because I would have liked to review past funds, was that I had proposals in with NFT DAO. And yeah, so that's a great big step forward, that you can propose and assess in different challenges. So yeah, so definitely thumbs up for that. It's super.
And another point, who of you know what the challenge team is already? Okay, because this is, Danny, I think this has really been well communicated, because I think this has as much impact of the ecosystem as the Fund 6, Fund 7 challenge proposals themselves. But Lucas, you want to say something?
No, I was saying that I don't know what it is, and you were you were like, yeah, everyone knows, and I was like, no, I don't.
All right, so retrospective, lack of awareness for, I think, challenge proposals and challenge teams. I have to write it down. Yes, there will be challenge team workshops for sure. Checking with Victor already for Catalyst School workshops. But you're free to speak, huh? I told you, I don't like to host.
But is the chat? Maybe I do know what the challenge teams is. Correct me if I'm wrong. But is it then people come together to think about what is the future proposal outlined or funding funding directions for the next
challenges themselves.
Okay.
You know how the proposals are all split up into several different challenge categories?
Yeah.
So the challenge teams are looking at those challenge categories. Correct me if I'm wrong, somebody. But my understanding is, yeah, that those base root challenges are the ones that are discussed. And maybe they're proposing new challenges, you know, for the next round or altering something or whatever it is.
Yeah. Okay.
I tried to give a very fast run through. So once you can submit proposals, your proposal is submitted in a challenge. Each challenge acts as a sub-fund, you can say a little bit. Once you have the whole fund for each funding round, each challenge, another word for challenge, just use category, acts like a sub-fund. Well, the sub-funds, right now, who sets them up? Well, a big part of the sub-funds is submitted by the community themselves. So one thing you can do, or for example, is you can submit your own proposal to realize a project, or you can submit a whole challenge to create a whole environment for projects, which will later submit their proposals in this challenge. The challenge teams now, in an initiative by IoT, in result also to say there are coming more and more challenges. Ecosystem community are growing faster and faster, and IoT as Cardano Foundation and Demogo are totally under-resourced. All of them have to work for 3 minimum. So how to catch up what is happening in the challenges? So the challenge teams are now people who can come together as a team, who can submit for challenges and will documentate, track, and report about the overall happening in the challenge. In regard also to the set KPIs and everything, how many proposals are submitted, how many of them have, how many CA assessments have been done on the proposals in the challenge, how many VCA assessments are done, how many wallets have been voted on the proposals in the challenge, how many ADA have been. So in general, just to figure out, okay, what on a later stage also to gather the data already and to say what makes a successful challenge. As everything is still on the very beginning, we have to figure out what are good challenges, what aren't so good challenges. There are some challenges where you have more than 100 proposals inside. There are some challenges where you have less than 30 proposals. And yeah. And also to give the control to the community to check everything. So to be a steward of a challenge. I hope I try to wrap it up as good as possible.
Just quick feedback. I actually saw this once, so I knew what the challenge team was, but it just gets lost in the sheer amount of information and so much going on. So, so now just that you mentioned it, I was like, yeah. There was like they're watching the challenges totally. So I already watched the presentation just for your information.
I think, yeah, you touch another point. It's great to have decentralization and distributed networks, but decentralized information and communication is dangerous. And yes, too many.
Yeah, you need something like Crypto Zombies, but for Catalyst. You know, like a little gamified quiz where you can ask people just learn by playing what Catalyst is about. I mean, this is a huge problem, but this could actually be a challenge setting. I think.
Brilliant.
Another thing, what would really interest me for everyone, just when you type it in the live chat, when you look back on your very first day, you started to be active in Project Catalyst until now, just from -5 to +5. What is the way or the development of your motivation of engage in Project Catalyst? this decreased into minus or increased into plus from -5 to +5. Just type it in the +3, +5, +4, +4, +3, +4.
I can't put a number on it. You know what? My perspective on it's changed, right? You know, I think about it differently. You know, I thought about it from one fund to the next, you know, and I might could talk about the process we were involved in, but I didn't have any real feel for the process at the beginning. And now it's, you know, it's interesting, right? You know, it's kind of like what I was talking about before, you know, and like meeting other people who are developing in this ecosystem. There's really great people talking about exactly the kind of, and interested in exactly the kind of stuff that puts you to sleep, you know. I'm really grateful for that. And that changes my perspective on how I think this process is going to move forward, right? Because we're kind of sticky, you know. People who catch the vibe, you know, they're going to get involved, you know, and this is kind of like a snowball rolling downhill, I think, on a particular level. And we continually, if we can continually attract the people that we most want to work with, you know, because that's kind of what I'm finding in the people that I see every day in the Cardano community. You know, it's like we're all working on the same thing, just everybody's doing something different. And that, I can't put a number on that. You know, I still only have as much time as I have. You know, it doesn't make me a +5 now, you know, and in January I wasn't. Now I'm a little bit more understanding about the time that I am putting in, you know, and how it's, you know, providing value on that level.
But it's interesting anyway to see that since the retrospect, since we have just started the call in the open conversation, we're mostly facing on the negative aspects. There hasn't been one thing where somebody said, hey, and this has been really increased. This was amazing. It was about, yeah, the CAs and lack of documentation, lack of communication, hard to find information, all this stuff. And regardless of all this, when I asked you, yeah, how is your motivation since the very first beginning? We have +3, +5, +4, +4, +3, +4, +3, +4. So regardless of this, everybody is engaged. And even more, more engaged since the beginning. So there seems to be something what overcomes all this, let's say, lacks and issues.
Yeah, I mean, we can't talk about solutions for things that we like. So I guess we talk about solutions for things that are wrong, you know. So.
But it's nice also to have a look back and to say, hey, this was actually really nice as well, where you don't have to focus on a solution. Because, yeah, definitely, as you said it, you only point something what is bad because you want to bring up a solution. No? If everything is perfect, we don't need solutions anymore. So.
But it's good that we have you to focus, refocus on the positives. And yeah, I mean, there is huge improvement going on in tools in the swarm and in the process itself. And even I heard about talks of opening the IdeaScale API up. This is tremendous change. And yeah, I only see positive in the future, definitely.
And another thing, what I would be really interesting, just when everybody could let's go on with this live chat, just yes or no. Could you imagine to leave your day job for Catalyst?
What day job?
Yeah, for me the same, but come on.
What was your question?
Could you imagine to leave your day job to go full-time into Catalyst?
Into Catalyst or into your project that you're proposing on Catalyst?
It's Catalyst, no? Your project is a part of Catalyst. And
yeah, okay.
Martin done already? Then 100%. Yeah, of course. Absolutely, done since April. Then I didn't even know you did it as well. Yes, well, since April. So again, something what is fucking impressive. So that there is something fucking weird, chaotic code catalyst called a fucking experiment. And everybody is can even imagine to leave their day jobs to go full time into. So I think again, something really interesting and positive, what we should not forget about.
Yeah, that's true.
Because we are speaking about full-time. Full-time means also that you shift your whole, let's say, life basis onto Catalyst. And when there are some thoughts to say, yes, nobody from you is naive. Nobody from you is stupid. We have amazing, smart and skilled people here. So everybody knows about the risk. Everybody knows today ADA can be $2 and tomorrow it can be 20 cents. And after tomorrow it can be $5. So, but no, it is theoretically, yes, it is. I mean,
it's not for the faint of heart.
Nope.
Yeah, I was just going to say 20 cents would be kind of distracting for me.
One day.
Well, then you need to do proper risk management, sir.
Because this is something else where I'm really impressed when you go, for example, on the official Cardano server. No, there you have a lot of people speaking about prices. I'm really impressed in Catalyst. I never hear people speaking about prices, about ADA, Moon, or whatnot. Really, fucking never.
Yeah.
And it's very nice.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I was surprised by this actually.
So I don't know who mentioned it before, but somebody said it's really nice to see, I think Steve, it was here, said now you see also this incubator structures taking place. Because for me, what becomes really obvious is to see, for example, in Fund 6, where you have more and more roles: community advisor, veteran community advisor, proposal mentor, referrer, challenge teams, Catalyst Circle member, Catalyst Circle facilitator, secretaries, and admins. More and more roles. Really see that, guys, we are building society.
You know, what's interesting about that, Felix, is that these conversations that I was in with Dor at the summit, he dropped the word incubator at least like 3 times, you know, when we were talking about Catalyst, and it was really, it made an impression on me, you know, particularly because of the stuff that I've proposed. You know, it's like, you can't be hot and cold about providing funding to Africa. You can't be hot and you're right. You know, like those people don't know anything about it there, and they have no infrastructure to work with together, you know, and in a particular, you know, on the ground level. And you can't just provide funding sometimes and not other times. You know, that's not how an incubator works. You know, they don't change the temperature on babies or chickens, you know, when they're in incubators. They'd fucking die. And I think it's, because I have heard people in the community talk about the treasury and what we're doing in Catalyst as if we're a VC fund, and we're not. You know, we're not. We don't have the professionals that they do. We have some great professionals in some amazing areas, but to handle this many proposals and this much money every 12 weeks, you know, we don't have that, and neither do VCs. You know, they don't crank through them like this either.
catalyze and incubate. Some other thoughts we didn't touch on yet so far. Positive, negative, neutral.
So maybe perhaps just another insight. So I started, it's my first fund 6, but I felt so guided and taken by the hand, and just meeting so many amazing people. I'm just amazed. But maybe it's the first fund, and in the next fund you're like, it could be better, but I always think that's super German. But I mean, it's already super amazing, and you meet lots of good people. But of course, the sky's the limit. Yeah.
What do you mean by taken by the hand when you join?
So yeah, they're just getting the good feedback on the proposals, and rethinking and thinking about it again, and have little guides and on how to structure your proposal, and then have different opportunities like the Idea Fest, where you can showcase your stuff or talk about stuff with different people, and yeah, sort of make sure that the people can show what they want to show, or what they really build, and yeah, just like that.
Yeah, I think just to kind of add on to Steven's point, that it's I can see how, because I as well also feel like it's been a really good experience, but I'm very new to it, so it's all exciting. But from Steven's point, I can see how it would be receive, for ongoing proposals or more veterans, it would be a frustrating experience with kind of every 12 weeks or having to continually kind of have the incubation periods die, because you're right, that wouldn't be a way for a startup to be successful. So it's probably different viewpoints, and I imagine looking back in a year will be a lot different, but I can see both sides, and I think it's probably a fact of reality that there's no way to do it perfectly, and everyone's going to have different viewpoints. So it's good to see that there's a democratic process to this, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, and it's interesting, right? People don't go away. I mean, very few. And really the only 2 or 3 that I can think of that literally left, they were assholes, right? And there just wasn't space for them to be assholes here, and that was really interesting.
I think if looking back, I think I'm not so much, I don't have many concerns in terms of the process. I'm sure there's many things that can be improved in a grander scale, but I think the difficulties that I think about over this fund was mainly to do with how do we communicate with our team? How do we come on the same page, even to have a meeting together when everyone is so busy with full-time work? I was trying to be as flexible as I could, but even on 2 different proposals, I was on 2 different teams. And even with both of those teams, we only met a few times. It was very difficult to find time to meet. And I don't know what solves that, and I don't even know if that's like a topic to be discussing here, because it's more interpersonal within the team. But if it's an issue across teams, it certainly seems like something like maybe when we're coming up with a team, we maybe need to be a little more clear about, like, okay, what day and time could you reserve for this proposal? 1 hour a week or 2 hours a week, whatever, so that every week everyone has that blocked out or something. I don't know what helps, but I know that was an issue on the teams that I was on, that I felt I don't even know for sure. Who knows? Maybe both of them, they're winning proposals. So there's no reason to say any of this. So maybe it worked. I don't know. But once we vote, we'll know. But I think there could have been a lot more done. I certainly felt like maybe 20% of my potential was reached within the team because we didn't get to meet as much. We didn't get to discuss or anything. So I felt very like silenced. My mouth was shut, you know, because I felt like the other people, they didn't have the time to maybe consult or whatever. So it is what it is. I don't know. I just wanted to share that just in case it was like a very similar experience for many others, then maybe there's solutions we could talk about later on. But I don't know. That was just something I wanted to share.
There you touched definitely a very important point, and I know that your situation is seen very often in the community. Already, very often you have teams with participants from very different time zones. Quite difficult to find a good time sometimes. Then you have people who are really dedicated, who came up with the idea, they drive it full and everything. And as everything is built on collaboration and from bottom up, and let's say very often quite grassroots, there are no clear structures, no clear hierarchies and roles and commitments and everything. And I think a lot of you who work in teams, I know Dan, Nori, Steve, that it's sometimes really difficult to just from the start of a project, and it takes time, it takes a lot of time to get aligned, figure out commitments, figure out roles, figure out fucking just the right day and the right time to come to each other. And because we don't want to build enterprises, we want to build something new.
Yeah, if we all would offer everyone a salary and say this is your role and keep it very simple, then it wouldn't be no big deal to have to create another corporation. But exactly, this is not what we want, not what we strive for. So it's a bit more difficult, I guess, but nothing worth doing is easy. So.
Sure, we're just giving a retrospect, so I thought I would mention it, but I will say that I even had an issue with the same issue. I had the same problem with the proposal. There's me and another guy, we live in the same state in the United States, and we both had the same issue. There's no time zone issue there. So I just want to mention that as one thing. And then another thing, I didn't know if unless somebody else had something to say about that, I had one more thought that's unrelated.
I can comment a little bit. I had the opposite experience. I was in a number of proposals, and it was either one person took the lead and really drove it and just asked for asynchronous feedback on a shared Google Doc, to one that involved maybe 20 people working feverishly together to produce like videos for the summit and all sorts of stuff. And it was all done. We even set up a Discord channel or server, and it has 26 channels on it. So there's this huge, massive piling on of effort and people and meetings, and not everyone could meet at the same time. So they met in small groups across time zones and stuff, and we made it work. But it's, yeah, just using the tools and finding a way to make it happen worked for us in that case. But it wasn't a proposal, it was a challenge setting. So that's a little bit different. And we were very inclusive in just pulling people in and saying, hey, join us and do stuff. And people brought all sorts of different things to the table. One guy was a video producer, and he was able to produce a really great video for us for the summit. Other people are just natural networkers, and they were able to gather people together. And other people loved writing the documents, so they focused on that with input from people. So we made it work. But yeah, I'm curious what the challenges were where it didn't work. And maybe there's stuff that we can share as far as tools or working styles or things like that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of learned behavior to doing this kind of work well. You know, like it's not at all a natural thing to me to work asynchronously, you know, because I feel like I'm guessing, you know, on that level. But you know, my role in these things is certainly not technical. It's more about ideas. And so, you know, for me, I have to balance myself by like feeding myself intellectually about this stuff by being as informed as I can be. And then not not being full of information when I'm in a meeting with everybody, right? You know, like I have to, you know, it's like being a pro golfer or an athlete, right? You have to be totally amped up to perform at that highest level. And yet in the moment when you execute, you have to be perfectly relaxed, right? You know, you can't put all that tension into it or you'll screw it up. And so like, if you come into a team meeting all amped up with all of your shit, no matter how good it is, there's no context for it, right? You have to let conversations develop, but you have to let it come around to what you can contribute. And that's, it's amazing to me how many people in this community have learned that, because my town of about 500 people, you know, within 5 miles of me, I couldn't tell you 5 people that know how to do that. But it's about looking for efficiency in conversation, right? And that's a real subtle thing.
It's also about trusting the other people. Like, just as an example, we were working on the rapid funding mechanism proposal, and we were coming down to the deadline. And so there were a couple of us on the west coast of North America working on it, but then it got to close to midnight and we weren't quite done. So we just fired it off into the chat room saying, hey, people in Europe, take it over when you wake up in the morning and take it across the finish line. And then Felix and Tyler kind of just took it and ran with it and finished it up and did a really great job. So it was kind of just trusting that everybody's invested and can support each other. Kind of worked out really well in this instance.
Very nice, very nice. Thank you. I liked you when you shared that. It made me think, oh, I wonder how many more people we could have added to the team that I have here with my friend in the state that I live in. We could have added a few more people and it could have really lightened the load and really maybe given us an opportunity to have more minds on the whole thing too. And I don't know, when you talked about having a lot of people, I thought, oh, that's an interesting concept just to think about, you know, doing that if it's possible and if it makes sense. The other kind of thing that I was thinking about was that with one of the projects I was in, we required a developer. And we were interviewing somebody and he said, right away, he said, okay, so what is your LLC and what is your this and this and this? Like, what's your corporation? And are you, you know, all of this? And we're like, you know, this is a developer from the Cardano community. He's part of Catalyst and everything. We're like, we just wrote this proposal because it's a good idea. And we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, when we've come across it, when we go across it. But we're simply trying to write a proposal right now and figure this out. And he was very turned off by the fact that we weren't an LLC yet. And I was thinking, are we the only ones? Is everybody already incorporated and everybody is like done this or what? I was so confused because he's like an experienced developer and he just left us after the meeting and never called back or anything. And we were like, okay, and good guy, very, very good guy. And I won't mention his name because I don't want to make sound bad or anything, but I just thought, I just didn't know. Both of us were very confused. We were left very confused and a little disheartened because we were like, do we ask any other developers? Are we the only team that is not incorporated somehow? How do the teams that are across the ocean, how do they become incorporated as a team when they have members from international? We just didn't know. So if anybody has thoughts about it, I don't know if, again, this isn't a place for solutions. We're just bringing up maybe the challenges we had with Fund 6, but that was another challenge.
So 90% of all active proposals are not a LLC, are not a whatnot. They have no legal entity. And just what you said, this is an issue for many projects. And what is interesting to see that some projects start from nothing, from 2 individuals building a collaboration team, becoming an LLC. For example, Jimmer Labs again. They started very early in Fund 2 already. They merged up, they created a whole project, created a whole community, and now they are a company. and they can provide professional services and everything, have their taxes, everything set in stone. But the most of the projects here, they're still, we are in Fund 6. We are still on the very, very beginning. Was a good point before it, here, Fund 480, whatnot, Fund 89. But yeah, for now, almost everybody is all actions are based on collaboration, but not on any legal structures.
Yeah, in retrospect, it seems like we might have done better to try to learn how to get a developer on our team rather than looking to interview some to maybe pay with the funds. I don't know, because then they would be more of a collaborator as opposed to somebody, I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, it was hard to find somebody that just wanted to join the team. The developers we only talked to a few. They wanted to just not be a part of the team. They just wanted to be paid a lump sum from our, which is fine. You know, that's fair, whatever. So I don't know if anybody, what other experiences other people are having, but.
Mike, I don't know if you wanted to say something.
No, I was just almost kind of was a laugh more just because it's again, everyone's kind of, I have popped around from a lot of different rooms and different, like everyone has, and met a lot of different people, but again, it's the same challenges, the same struggles, the same. So it's like, you know, we're all doing the same things. We're not all the same things, but there's a lot of, you know, low hanging fruit that, you know, I think there seems to be a lot of opportunity to capture a lot of this, and a lot of synergies that can be done by just kind of bringing people together and collaborating. So.
And also for the next steps, for example, what could also fit well in, because something what we have new as well in Fund 6 is the Catalyst Boost Camp, what it's called. So where you have also, especially for the funded projects which moved into the cohort, where you have Entrepreneur-D and what was the other? I don't know. So also professional enterprises who provide support and everything for funded projects to face, especially this project. How do I I have to make an invoice, but wait, what are we? What full name do we have? Oh no, we don't have a tax number. We have wallets. Shit, wait, wallets, ADA, euro, dollar. What the fuck? It becomes quite fast, quite difficult. We had the same experience also a little bit with Catalyst Swarm, for example. They said, yeah, okay, write the invoice. Well, okay, writing invoice, cool. But okay, how are we getting paid? For example, well, let's say, for example, you have a proposal, everything fine. You get not even voted or funded, but you have somehow a success on a collaboration base. And now there's somebody who wants to pay you for something. You say, oh, okay, that's great. And then the whole shit comes. So definitely, yes. And also to be paid in ADA. I say, oh, okay, well, okay, I write you this invoice today and we take the ADA price of today maybe, but wait, in 3 months, is it still the same when you're going to pay me? Or is it something totally different? How do we handle this issue? And then when you, and then when you receive your ADA, well, you have to pay taxes for this in regard to the country where you are, but you are working in a collaborative around all the world. So you say again, oh, wait, there are some issues. How do we tackle this? But that's also a little bit the beauty that we have to figure this out. And once one project has a discovery, makes an achievement, it directly becomes an achievement discovery for all of us as well. One success is everyone's success. One's failure is also everybody's success.
Yeah, because we're learning for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're trying to do it in a way that we go about donation structure so that we donate to the members that contribute. And we do occasional livelihood payments of works in case if people have freelancing contracts. And it is like also possible to have a wrapper LLC around the association that you have. But this is all very experimental stuff. For example, Ottoco is what they do is they create LLCs as a wrapper on Ethereum. So you can basically set up an LLC in 15 minutes, but on Ethereum. And it would be amazing to have something similar like this on Cardano that would solve a lot of issues.
So Dan, who are you talking about specifically? Do you know the name?
Ottoco, wait.
We met a guy named Dave Gorman, I think. I know his first name was Dave. Real tall guy. He lives on Hawaii, but he's been in Ethereum since the beginning, and he has done that also. You know, he was talking about that because
maybe it's his project.
I don't know. But I mean, he was there. We met him because James and I arrived on Thursday, and Monday through Friday there was a blockchain conference going on at the university there, or in the hotels, and this guy was there talking about DAOs, and because that's some of the smart contracts he's built on Ethereum were some of these DAO constructs that the state of Wyoming is using, which is part of the reason why he had flown all the way to Wyoming for this conference. But yeah, there's some really interesting stuff going on there, and this guy he hung out for the whole Cardano summit to, you know, just to interact and learn more about bringing shit over onto Cardano.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, I think there's just a wave of stuff that's all of a sudden going to be available.
Do you still have his contact, or are you in contact with him?
I'm not personally. James is at Gimbal Labs.
Okay, cool.
So we can talk to him about it.
Awesome. Good note.
Generally, we can say that collaboration is great for kickoff, but when it comes concrete, then yes, it causes some and inhabits some risks also for the team behind.
It depends on what you're doing, right? You know, if you're trying to develop product involving smart contracts that involve transactions, then there's a way to split that money up, right? You get a part of that fee, whatever that fee is that you declare, and that can all be handled, right? You have to be clear before you make that product what everybody's doing and what everybody gets. But, you know, it's kind of simplified in my view. But again, it depends. There's lots of other things being done in the Cardano ecosystem that are not that easy to evaluate, not that easy to fund, you know.
And also another thing what I really would love to point, as Mike is in the room here already. Mike, it's been a while I met you already, and for you who don't know Mike, he was one of the main spirits behind Catalyst Swarm when everything really started to evolve. It was mostly driven by his philosophy also, and from some, especially also Victor Cassini, who joined in when it all took place. And then something, yeah, let's go for it, Mike, because we have this problem still that community and entities, there's still a lack of communication. But I think Mike represents a fucking beautiful situation, because you're a community member, fucking engaged since the beginning, adding a lot of value. And maybe just tell a little bit about your journey. What are you doing now?
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's been a wild ride. It's crazy to think we've known each other for more than 6 months at this point, right? Yeah, so it's funny. I listening to some of the stories from today, how many people kind of got involved and started to get like really heavily involved around like the Fund 3 timeline, right? I think Victor mentioned that, Lucio mentioned that. Felix, I think that was around the time you got involved, and so yeah, I also came in around the tail end of Fund 3, and so this big retro event is near and dear to my heart. Kind of the first thing that I did with the community was offered to drive our very first retro, coming on the tail end of Fund 3, going into Fund 4, and then like Felix said, kind of the excitement, the energy of just getting. I think we had maybe 10 people on the first session, and by the close of the retro, we had maybe 20 join on the third session. And we just kind of kept that momentum. We kept meeting up on Saturdays, and then that's how I linked up with Felix and Victor and Tivo, and we started running the swarm sessions, and that just grew into a beautiful thing. And it's incredible to see what that's turned into with the After Town Hall and the Idea Fest, and still going strong with the Saturday sessions, and that's super cool. And something that I'm really excited about, and I think Felix is kind of pushing me into right now is
do it.
As some folks know, I actually recently joined the IOG team, and so I'm coming on to their team as a product owner, and so I'm getting to bring all of everything that I kind of learned from the community and the relationships, and excited to get to drive stuff from the other side and kind of be that bridge, and so yeah, I'm super excited about it. We haven't really shared that too widely yet. It's definitely out there, so it's not like a big secret, but hasn't been a big announcement or anything yet. But yeah, I'm just excited to continue being part of the community, and I joke with Felix. It was the first time that I could actually start attending live events, because now I don't have a day job conflict, right? The day job is this, which is super fucking exciting. Before I just keep rambling here, I guess that's like a little bit about my journey and kind of where we're at now, and kind of this opportunity to be kind of bridging things. I'll be honest, Felix, I am trying to pull together a retrospective for our internal team right now. And so I've been kind of in and out, have been really enjoying the conversation, but I apologize. I don't know if I totally answered your initial question as I'm jumping in here and sharing some of that.
Because I think what you represent is, for me, never really nice point of Retrospective Fund 6, to see that IoT knows about the people in the community. And we know that they don't take just random people, and that they stuff up their team with community members who know about the shit, who know very well about what it means to be a community advisor, being a proposer. I think for me, this is an extremely important symbolic act as well, to know that, hey, they are building their bridges as well, and they are smart. And yeah, just really happy that you're kind of, well, not the first one, but definitely one of the best ones to pilot this also, and to show, hey, it's not community and we have this entity who controls and owns everything. No, there's a right spirit on both sides.
I love it, man. I love it, and definitely, looking forward to continuing the relationship and building those bridges. We're all just one big team, man.
Yep.
Met you in a WADA context. Are you going to continue with that as well, or is that kind of giving way to your new position?
Yeah, so I definitely had the partnership with WADA for some time, and then I'm not sure if you were at the WADA conference, but I did participate in the WADA conference. I guess for a little bit more background, I had a funded proposal in Fund 4 for guided onboarding experiences that I presented at that conference, and so definitely continue to have a good working relationship with WADA, and actually have some conversations planned with Mercy to actually take that guided onboarding experience and start to translate it into different languages, repurpose it for their context to be kind of this repeatable tool that they can take and just kind of do whatever they kind of see fit to do with it. And that's always been kind of the vision with that tool was, can we get this base template and, you know, let people build on top of it and let it grow and bring it into different contexts. And so on the WADA partnership, we never really had a kind of a official capacity working together. I helped out with some project management for a little bit. You know, we did some fun kind of like journey mapping exercises and did some stuff on kind of laying out the vision together. So yeah, absolutely continue to have a good working relationship. But I think, Nori, what you might be referring to is Mercy had mentioned that I might be joining the team in a project management capacity in like in a formal way. That didn't ever actually pan out. So just like, you know, continue to have a collaborative partnership relationship. But yeah, not like any kind of formal part of the WADA team. And Nori, super cool to see you getting involved with the Catalyst Circle and driving some of this facilitation in the retros. I loved that you guys had this format of having the different breakout sessions and having all like the structured questions that can get funneled up. Because actually, you know, thinking back to the very first retro, that was an idea that Stephen and I had talked about is, hey, what if we could break this out, have some really deep dive discussions and come back together. But I think at the time it was a bit of a capacity constraint, right? We just didn't have the people that wanted to kind of take on that role and host and facilitate. And so I'm super excited, not only just getting to participate today, you know, a little, you know, very, very nostalgic and close to my heart, but, you know, to see the evolution of it and to see so many, you know, great people coming in and being able to take on some of those roles and just watching it grow and evolve. It's really awesome.
Yeah, it's nice seeing the Catalyst Circle form, and then the admin team kind of grew out of almost necessity for facilitation and secretary. And that team is starting to take on more and more stuff to help out, like running the retrospectives and things like that. So it's nice to see kind of the bottom up kind of organic growth of this and people jumping in to help out and do stuff.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, that's what got me hooked, man, was the fact that, you know, we could just have a bunch of people, you know, talking on Discord and, hey guys, let's meet up this Saturday and see how we can improve this thing. You know, we had a bunch of issues and a bunch of pain points. You know, there's all kinds of chats about, shit, this was breaking, this was tough, this was hard. And we got together and said, hey, let's try to solve some of this stuff. And, you know, like, you know, I've always had tons of respect for Phil, because I mean, like, I feel like he literally walked out of that retro and he's like, I'm gonna go fucking build that community landing page that we all clearly need, that central repo, and has only, you know, continued to bring more people in the boat on that. And yeah, it's just been great to watch the community just like grow legs, man. It's like God, Phil is always just like dropping little nuggets. You know, you don't need to ask permission. You already got it, and it's, you know, it's great to just see people, you know, seeing that and taking the reins and just taking action. It's awesome.
True. I agree. Phil's amazing.
Yep. Really cute. And just another point what you touched, because this also is, well, it took place already. I think it was still in Fund 5, but yeah, started to get shape a little bit in Fund 6, the Catalyst Circle. Yeah. Well, to be honest, for me, it was one of the strangest experience I've made so far in Catalyst, because it was the very first time to act in an environment where it really feels as work and not as fun. So I will not do it again, to be honest, but extremely beautiful experience. And also to see, for example, what happened with especially the secretary and the facilitator. I think there has been a really valuable lesson in this as well, because Catalyst Circle said, okay, hey, we need some more people to make this stuff rolling out properly, give it more effectivity. Said, okay, we need a secretary. No, at very first, just a facilitator. Said, wait, we need a secretary as well. So we announced the recruitment of a facilitator and a secretary. Several people showed up, came to the meeting, and from this, let's say, interview, it wasn't really an interview, the people themselves decided, hey, no, okay, we don't apply as one person, we will join the circle as whole teams. So in 2 weeks, Catalyst Circle doubled his capacity from 7 to 6 7 people more. And again, everything on voluntarily base, everything on, yeah, hey, let's do it. Let's bring it forward. Let's move it forward. And just to see also this, even when it comes to, let's say, this catalyst circle where you have elect people and all this stuff, and even there to see, hey, it's still the community who brings the most impact in it. Because without a facilitator, without a secretary, we wouldn't be even able to run the catalyst circle meetings. So it's the community who comes, okay, we are here, we are ready to go. We don't have rewardings, okay, no problem. We can make it happen anyway. And we cannot come with 2, we come with 6. So here you have. And the whole team behind who supports. So this again is something extremely interesting to see. And also to see how really people are, it's not only about ADA and it's not even about proposals. It's about governance a lot. And to see also that people are really engaged, really want to take initiative and to say, yeah, let's build fucking governance, let's build society. And let's do it from bottom up. This is, for me, the most beautiful lesson I got from Catalyst Circle so far. Because to see also that Catalyst Circle accept this, that they don't say, no. We only wanted 1 person, everybody else, we don't care. So this is really beautiful. Because this will set a little bit the standard for Circle version 2, 3, 4, 5. They can't exclude their community. They have to show up in the town halls. They have to be there.
Be interesting to see what Circle 489 looks like.
I love it.
It's a sphere, not a circle then.
Exactly. I think it will be several circles. But yeah. But just as also to the retrospective of Catalyst Circle, it's something interesting, but definitely not perfect, but like everything else in Catalyst, not perfect, but definitely on the right way, on the right direction. And again, because the community decides.
And while we're while we're having a little community love fest, when I was listen a little bit earlier, someone had mentioned the lack of price action talk in this community, and that totally stuck out to me because I was so guilty of following all the price action and being a little bit neurotic about it. Honestly, I think we've all kind of fallen into that trap at one point or another, right? And I totally credit this community with not only kind of opening my eyes to the possibilities and potential of blockchain and governance and all the exciting stuff that kind of has been the journey of the last 6 to 8 months. But the community also cured my price action addiction, and so that's something that I'm totally grateful for. I swear other people have to tell me about price action these days. They'll, how are you looking at this? You looking at that? I'm like, oh no, man, like I haven't. Cool, yeah, that's awesome, that's great, but not what I'm focused on, man. It's these these big, fun, awesome, messy, social, collaborative problems, and that's where the magic's at.
Catalyst therapy.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, Mike. And I was just, the thought I had was we should try to create that same energy in the NFT community on Cardano. That's something that I do see people doing, which is really cool in the sort of NFT spaces around different projects. They're very free of that kind of perspective, and I think it adds a lot. And then I've gone into other communities where it's not like that, and it's a little more stressful when everybody's just focused on like, what's the price, man, And I actually credit that whole thing that you're just talking about to I had a really good friend of mine who I was really excited just recently decided to join actually really get into
381.
Oh, anyway, he just really got into crypto recently, and he did a lot of research and really was like, yes, Cardano is definitely where I want to go. And I was telling him about the Catalyst meetings and town hall and stuff, and that was the thing that I was like, yeah, the thing that's so amazing is that the conversation revolves around like, how do we help change the world? How do we help bring the world to a better place? And I was just talking about how, you know, it's just, there is nothing really about like, what is the price of ADA or where is it going or this or that. And he was like, really? He's like, how could that be? And so he started coming and he's become very delightfully like, you know, he's very pleased with it. And I thought, man, that's really great. It is very attractive to people to come into a community where how to help the world is the biggest concern, you know, so.
Yeah, I love that, and then that's funny you mentioned the NFT space too, because right, I don't get, you know, I'm in a couple servers here and there, and you know, I kind of see like a mix, right? I see like some places that you know, are like focused on the price action, but at the same time, even the ones that are like pretty price action heavy, you know, they're also like excited about like the project and the artwork, and you know, how are we gonna start to gamify that or whatever the use case might be, right? And yeah, I would love to get more go deeper on some NFT projects. The showcase from AdaQuest today was super cool. Kind of reminded me of a little plug for the Drunken Dragon. If people are not familiar with them, that they're another cool kind of NFT game in like the dungeon adventure kind of space. Fuck, I totally wanted. There was another point I wanted to make riffing on what you're talking about, Ben, but totally lost it.
NFTs.
And when
they're destroying everything, even the Cardano blockchain.
What depends of the use, because I think another thing where I think where you can see a lot of projects, especially projects which established also through the previous months and who really start to take shape now through Fund 6 as well, is this huge lack of documenting, tracking engagement, building a reputation, building a rewarding, all of this. That we see a lot of projects really move heavily in direction of a DAO. Mostly quite connected, so that it sees really therefore I love this analogy of a swarm without in any context now to Catalyst Swarm, but to seeing these projects building in a natural environment a DAO of DAOs. And they're all connected. They're all speaking to each other, coordinating, well, definitely can be increased and everything. And by this, where I see anyway a certain problem, what we definitely saw also through in Fund 6 and Fund 7, not Fund 7, this didn't happen yet, through Fund 6, still there's a huge lack of communication, especially I think we are close to IoT, but Immorgo, Cardano Foundation are not present, active at all in Project Catalyst. Nobody knows what they are actually doing. So it's really hard to get on the same page there. And I think this is also in some regards highly ineffective, as it only can cause duplications of efforts. And also to IoT's position, to see also how IoT becomes extremely dominant in Project Catalyst, takes a huge place. Cardano Foundation and Immorgo, even if they would like to join, they are not even able to join because IoT reserved the place already. And the community has the need anyway to communicate and coordinate with all of them.
Yeah, but can't they at least like send out some like ambassadors or whatever to the swarm?
Well, I'm an ambassador, and the ambassadors are a whole shit show.
No, I mean an ambassador from Immorgo, for example.
They don't have ambassadors.
Yes, really. They should. Like...
Does Aiden count?
You're right, Aiden. Isn't he working with Immorgo now?
I think he was like an intern back in the day. I'm not sure if he has any stuff going on with them now. I was just playing.
So they should rehire him as an ambassador.
I think this is definitely something which might cause a lot of risk in the future by having the need of the community, let's say as children, and then you have Mama and Papa in 3 forms, IoT, Emurgo, Cardano Foundation, for managing the whole thing. And when Mama and Papa are not speaking with each other, well, the children, they are not happy.
Yeah, but then again, Emurgo is not open. Are they open today? Is Yoroi open source? I don't think so, right? So they're highly proprietary, and I think they want to keep it like this. So I doubt that they will engage, or that they even have plans to engage too much in Catalyst. And I don't see why this is such a big problem.
Because Catalyst is not only ideas and proposal. Catalyst is the community, and the community is much bigger than just Project Catalyst.
Yeah, Felix, why don't you guys send a formal invitation to Catalyst, to Emurgo, and the way you set the tone, you know?
Emurgo has made proposals to the Catalyst community.
Right.
They just don't show up at these meetings.
Invite them to present, you know, to introduce the community to Emurgo and Emurgo to the community and so forth. So that way they feel compromised, and if they are not interested, well, they will manifest it right there. And then
it's just that they will probably not use open source tools because they will be created under licenses where it might be not allowed to create proprietary software from this, and vice versa. We will probably also not be able to use their tools fully if they will not be open source and if they will be proprietary. So even if we were working on the same tools, we would still need to be working on different tools to be able to use them in our specific contexts, I think. Or not?
But yeah, and Michael, what you were saying about the price, I'm sure you didn't put it on any social media, right? Michael is not available. Because many people come to Cardano through price, but then they realize it's much more than that. In fact, my son is one of them, and now he loves Cardano. I'm just waiting for him to come all the way to the meetings and all that. But for now, he's into Cardano, and yeah. Michael, I was asking if you compromised yourself with the price on social media or not.
Yeah, no, so I had the headset on, I was listening as I filled my water, and don't get me wrong, I totally came in as a moon boy. When moon, I want some free ADA for some half-ass community advisor reviews. To be totally honest, I came in here because I was like, hey, here's like a way I can earn some ADA, going to the moon. I came in here totally for the price action. I think that, in underlying it all, there totally was this draw. I mean, by the time I discovered Catalyst, I had already been pretty bought in on, the Cardano vision, definitely following Charles. And, I saw Cardano as being differentiated and having this very kind of grand social vision of, banking the unbanked, documenting the underdocumented, and these real financial use cases where I think even like the Bitcoins, the dots, the Ethereums of the world, they're really more focused on the tech and less on the vision. And so that totally was there, and that's why I was so excited about this project in particular. But day one Catalyst, I came in here for some easy ADA, when moon, get the inside scoop, and you just get in here and it's the energy, it's talking to people. I vividly remember an early conversation that I had with probably one of my first conversations with Randall, maybe in like one of the first handful of Swarm sessions. He said something that really resonated with me, and it was, these problems existed, and I felt these problems and I felt that they were important, but I never saw any way that I could have any impact on any of these things. And it was finding Cardano and hearing the vision of people like Charles. And I mean, not to be like a Cardano maximalist, I think, the crypto space in general, but where I first was exposed to it is, here are some ways where not only maybe we can try to address these problems. We can offer solutions, but I can be part of that. You know, like something that I've been, you mentioned social media, kind of bringing it back to that. I am totally like a tinfoil hat, like data privacy, like don't mind my data. I don't have any social accounts. I downloaded Discord and Telegram purely for Catalyst. And so, I was coming from a place of, privacy by design. Until I heard that concept, I was taking it for granted. Like, this is just the way that the world is. I will never own my data. These companies will always have this ownership and control, and I'm just kind of at their mercy. And the idea of privacy by design and data ownership and zero knowledge proofs and stuff like that is like, wow, there's actually a solution to some of these problems. And not only that, but it's, again, something that I can get involved with. And that same kind of thinking to, again, the financial inclusion, the documentation of underdocumented, decentralized governance. And so I don't even know if I answered your original question, Juan, but that was just some of the thinking that you sparked with the comments there. But yeah, social media, I'm totally off of social media. I don't do any social media. And I was quickly cured of my price action addiction after I got kind of deep with the Catalyst community.
Got it. Yeah.
Sorry. I was just gonna say I kind of made the same evolution, Mike. I mean, I got into it to invest and got involved with the community because I thought when smart contracts come on, that's the best place to know what new cryptos might be coming out and everything. And in fact, I've been thinking about that a lot because it was just a week or two ago that I realized, oh, this is that time I've been waiting on. I kind of I've gotten so involved in the community and the groups that I talk to all the time that I wasn't paying attention to what people were actually building. It was kind of a weird paradox there for me. But I mean, we're here, right? This is the beginning, and I can tell y'all, just because you've sat through this meeting this long, I'm all in favor of anything y'all want to do because I know why you're doing it. Or you wouldn't be sitting here.
Yeah, it's so true. Everything that you guys said is so true and resonating with me because I went through the same. I got into Cardano way back in 2017 when I was when I got involved in crypto, and actually I went straight to Catalyst because I wanted to write a proposal and then met NFT DAO and so on and so forth. But now last couple of weeks, people have been asking me what I'm doing as a job and stuff. And it's always very tough to tell them, but I always tell them that what I'm working with the community, and without this community, I would be depressed to nowhere. I mean, of course, I got a son right now, but I cannot have everything, like all my motivation and everything just depend on another being. I have to be intrinsically motivated. And since I found really a way to tackle all these big problems that we're thinking about and that different pawns in this community are thinking about, since I found a way to actually engage in solutions, this is a heavy weight lifted from my soul, and it makes me just very, very happy. And thank you all, that you're so amazing.
And you're giving me goosebumps, man.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff, Dan. I really appreciate that.
I appreciate you guys.
Yeah,
really.
well said.
Because one thing I have to say, before I left my day job, I think it was in April this year, to go full-time Cardano. Before I worked 6 years in psychological, pedagogic consulting, coordination, dealing a lot with enterprises from Germany, Luxembourg, and France, and institutions. And what is happening here is fucking amazing. Just from the social side, pedagogic, psychological backgrounds, environments, without naming it, without having any institutions which are dropping whatnot for environments and lines. It's a regenerative society which feeds themselves. And people who are left out, like in our society, we have more and more cases of this. You don't fit into the system. Okay, you move very fast to the border of the society. And the society makes you feel this on a very vicious way as well. You're not respected. You are out of the society. You are a little bit of garbage. We don't have this here in the community. When we have it in such a low percentage that you can't even call it, let's say, part of the society. So just have this social, we don't have any social backups. There aren't any, let's say, social helps or therapists or pedagogues or psychos who help you to get your soul fixed when needed. But the whole environment has it without putting anything on place. And this is something extremely interesting. And just then what you said, or Mike, there is definitely something like a community therapy.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I see also, for example, in regard to other communities, for example, in IOTA or Polkadot, a lot of communication is happening, like here, Discord, Telegram, whatnot. But for example, this recurring meeting set up by the community, where the community comes together, meet each other, speak to each other, understand each other, and help each other. This is something really, what I think has been the biggest thing Cardano achieved so far, the community, which takes care for the community.
I just posted the keynote for Dr. Liero. I don't know if it's pronounced that way, but yeah, it has to do a lot with what you Felix mentioned. It's many different incentives that we don't even realize that they are there. But that's the way. That's the only way for social change and for us to be here. Because if not, we wouldn't find any value of what we discuss in every conversation. We wouldn't stay here. We wouldn't be here, and Felix will continue doing what he was doing, as me and everybody else. I assume that this is a big chunk of time that we put into this for a reason, right?
Yeah, obviously.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And we force ourselves to learn, which is the best.
Social incentives.
Social incentives, yes. That's exactly right.
Yeah, I think the biggest social incentive is really what Felix touched upon, that it's a kind of a, yeah, I wouldn't call it group therapy. It's such a bad name for it. It's such a really bad name for it. But it has, it reaches the similar goals more efficiently that group therapy is looking at, I think.
And there's just something very powerful about getting together with a bunch of people that are kind of all bought in on the same vision, right? We're all kind of aiming in the same direction. Like I think Steve mentioned it earlier, you're all just like magical internet people. And despite that, I want all of you to fucking succeed. Like I want nothing but the best for all of you, and for you to just like rock it in everything you do, and just to, you know, like grow whatever you're doing and make it super awesome and badass. And you're just like a random, like, you could be a deep fake, right? Like, but right to like I've had that conversation probably like a dozen different people in the community. Like, has it ever crossed your mind that these are all just like really sophisticated AIs that are playing some like mean joke on me, right? Like you're all just like people on the internet, and despite that, like I feel like this connection with you, and like I want you all to like do well. And that's just like this really weird, interesting phenomenon when I like stop and step back and think about it. And I think it has to do with whatever this powerful, you know, social thing that's going on. And I think that there is something very real to it. Like I do think that the social, the community aspect is, you know, one of, if not the key differentiator of Catalyst, right? There are other governance systems out there. There are other people working on decentralized treasuries and proposal systems and, you know, improvement proposal, different processes. But I think what really makes this whole thing unique is the social collaborative layer. And, you know, kind of speaking to what Dora was mentioning earlier, right? It's not just about getting people involved, but in the process, we're training tens of thousands of people to be comfortable in this digital crypto space and exposing them to concepts and work in a decentralized way. And it's just, that's like, I think we're just on the start of that wave. We're going to see some really, really powerful things, you know, come out of that.
Definitely.
Just there, I think the most powerful thing is that people actually feel that they can make a difference. So, because basically, I have no idea, but I think heaps of the political systems are highly exclusive to, or where you do not feel like you can decide anything and you're just a ball and you're getting kicked around. And in Catalyst and Cardano, the whole ecosystem, you feel like you can actually do something, and you feel, and I actually had this as well. I was like, this is somehow too good. I feel
That's what I'm saying, man. Everybody's had that thought.
I feel like people are literally just doing things right. Like once in my whole life, people are actually doing things right. It's a bit strange, but that's probably where the power comes from, or at least that's I feel.
It's a valid point. I think this is like, this shouldn't be a big surprise. Like, we shouldn't be celebrating the like genuine, like, you know, just genuine goodness of people, right? I think that it's probably more common than we think, and I think we've had the wool pulled over and the veil pulled over our eyes for a long. I mean, for me, forever. Maybe that's just human nature, but I do think we're at near a tipping point where, we're building a society, and I think it's ready, and so I think it's there, and I think what we're feeling here is like, just we forgot that it's the norm and it's been pulled away from us. So I think it's there. It's just got to be, the fire's got to be stoked again. And I guess this is maybe, hopefully, ground zero. Sounds like that's kind of the general vibe. So that's pretty neat.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mike. You know, it was a real eye opener for me when I found out that, you know, when the American Revolution happened, it was only 10% of the people that actually did that.
Wow.
And out of those 13 colonies, it was only 10% of them that actually revolted. And so and I think about that a lot, you know, and I think that of the people whose personality and natural strength of independent thought that I'm aware of in the world, you know, I can imagine that there's 10% of the population that are kind of like us, you know, and that we'd be willing to look at an idea like blockchain or self-governance or, you know, any of these ideas and really say, hey, yeah, maybe there's a way out of this. I think that there's 10% of the population that you know, could buy into the idea. And to me, it's more a question on how to best communicate it, right? Because I can tell people the road I took, but I wouldn't recommend it. It seemed long and torturous to me while I was going through it, you know. And I mean, just my journey into crypto. You know, I would have much rather started from 2 or 3 books that I know about now. You know, I could be much more focused if I got to do it again. You know,
I would suggest using the voter tool in the next fund, because there you can choose like topics that interest you, and then just contact the teams directly, because you can do this. You know, that's how what I would suggest to people that are new to Catalyst and want to get involved, because there you can see you can see what kind of projects are active. You can get a feeling for what they're talking about, ask questions also, like during the comment period. And that's probably the best time for when people can go into Catalyst, because there's also lots of activity. People are active on idea scale, and it's an easy interface for people to use, easier than Discord or Telegram and so on. Well, yeah, not easier than Telegram, but yeah.
Hey, on that note, gents, I am gonna get out of here. It's been a long day. Gonna start to wrap up for the day and get ready for the evening. But I thoroughly enjoyed this. It's been way too long since I've gotten to just sit and shoot the shit with the community like this. And so it's honestly just like filled me up that this has been great. Really appreciated the opportunity to get to connect with some new faces. Dan, Ben, others. Good to see some familiar ones. Felix, Steve, Mike. Everyone. It's been a pleasure. But I'm gonna run. I'll catch you guys next time.
Big pleasure, Mike.
See you,
Take
Mike.
care.
Nice to pleasure to meet you, Michael.
If we're even real.
Yeah, right.
I'm following his lead, guys. So thanks so much for everybody. This is really cool.
Blessing to see you all. Yeah,
Yeah,
thank
guys,
you so much.
I'm going to hit it as well. It's quite late here.
I hit the road as well.
Danny, you want?
Daniel, it doesn't have anything to do with the fact that you just came in, but I haven't had lunch, so I better go and eat something.
And just if there are any VCAs in this room from the past round, please check the CA Advisor channel or the Discord. We have a little bit of an urgent task for you if you would be interested to participating, but I don't know if any of you were VCAs this round from top of my head.
Only CAs, sorry.
That's okay. Unfortunately, I think 3 projects were filtered out entirely on their assessments. So we're trying to figure out how to plug that into the Catalyst voting app. So if you do have friends as VCAs, poke them in the right direction. I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Daniel.
All right. Have a good day, everyone.
You too,
Daniel.
So I think
Felix, thank you.
People.
Thank you, guys.
yes.
I take my leave.
Let's
Go
call
to
it a day.
bed. Go to bed, Felix.
Yes.
Good
Yeah,
night,
as well.
guys.
And we have to
Take
be
care.
careful. Nobody's going to watch fucking 3 or 4 hours recordings. We have to make.
I don't know. This was a good conversation, I think, man. This one should be broadcast.
Definitely.
Certainly,
No.
there was a lot of sound bites we could pull out of that. Inspirational little quotes. It was awesome. Very cool.
Yeah, good hosting, Felix. I don't know what we're so worried about. You're a good host, mate.
I know you get used to host fucking each week anything, but anyway, I don't like to host because I don't think that there should be a host for any room or location.
I'll suggest you anytime. I think you did great. I know you love it. I'm playing. Thank you so much for everything, Felix, and everybody here. Much appreciated. Much love. Take care, brothers.
Good segue to the background, Ben. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was good.
Thanks to everyone.
Yeah, bye.
See you around.
And maybe we can just skip in the recording, just take all the breaks out, because there were lots of times where no one said anything, and it might be just be 1.5 hours or something.
You know somebody who is going to cut the video?
Yeah.
I could. I think.
You want?
You could send me some.
Okay.
Why not?
Send me your mail. I'll send you the folder.
Okay. Oh shit. No, I don't know.
You good for next week as well?
No, I tell you, I tried it some month ago already to cut some sessions, but hey, it takes just fucking too much time. And you know, there are each Wednesday town halls where you have minimum 4 breakout rooms with minimum 2 hours, so you have 10-hour footage just for Wednesday. Saturday you have swarm sessions with minimum again 3-4 breakout rooms, mostly again 3-4 hour conversations. So again 12 hours, okay, 22. Then you have Eastern Town Hall with 5 breakout rooms in 5 different languages, which needs to be translated if you want to cut anything in your language. So you have each week 30 hours of footage, makes you in a month, calculated.
Yeah.
So you don't want to even start something like this, dude.
No, I just thought about this one, this special one, but I did not know that all the talks that you are hosting are going for 3 hours. Shit. Well, okay. Have a good night.
Yep. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Uh,
Mm.